Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 121 and today we are going to be doing a bunch of really awesome stuff on the server. Now, as you can probably tell, I sound a little bit tired right now, and that is because Christmas is now over. The Christmas season has finished. It is currently the 27th of December, which means it's the day after Boxing Day. I had a fantastic Christmas. It was awesome. Spent a ton of time with the family, friends, and of course the girlfriend as well. And yeah, it was great. I got a ton of cool stuff as well, which is always a benefit, and I gave a ton of cool things to all of those. But now we're back on the Hermitcraft server, and I am ready for some Minecraft action. It's actually been a couple of days since I've been on here. I think the last time I was on here was the 23rd, so it's been 4 days since I've been on the server. Just popped back on, and we're just outside this thing right here. And oh my word, this thing looks amazing. It's such a cool build. I mean, I'm so glad I put in the hours to do all of the different circles. Originally, I was just going to have that vertical circle there, that one there, and then one horizontal one. That was going to be it. So I'm really glad I did the diagonals, even if they took ages, and also the ones going around the top and the bottom, because I just think it finishes it off. I think it looks absolutely incredible. But anyway, what I'm going to do to start things off today is we're going to pop over to the Brown District. I just want to see how all of my stores have been doing over the past couple days. And oh I was expecting diamonds. I've been away for 4 days. I was expecting it all to be sold out. What? So our shop's been a total flop over the Christmas season. I guess there's probably a chance that a lot of the other hermits haven't been able to play over the past couple days. So that's probably something to do with it. Oh, thank goodness. At least we've made a few diamonds over the Christmas season. Right, we've got 3 diamonds. Well, you know what? Okay, can't complain too much. That's nothing too bad. Let's pop back over to the base. We're going to pick up some redstone resources because we have got a whole bunch of work to do. So first things first, we're going to need a whole ton of glass for this one because I've sort of come up with an idea that I think is going to look really very cool. But I'm a little bit worried about it. As you guys remember, I came up with an idea that I thought was cool last time, the diagonal circles. It did end up being cool, but it ended up being really complicated as well. And this one, I think, is going to be just about as complicated. What I want to do is I want to add in some glass to the bottom of the sphere in a kind of wavy formation around the bottom quarter. It's going to be tough because I'm going to have to build the bottom half of the sphere whilst also dealing with the wave as well without it all looking really, really silly. Honestly, I have no clue how it's going to go at this point in time. I have not made a very good start here. I have no clue what I'm doing. Absolutely none. Right, so I have spent a little bit of time fumbling around, and this is what we have so far. Now, I have to say, I am really, really proud of myself on this one. I'd say this has gone really well so far. The first one that I built was terrible. I took it all down. I started again and I came up with a new technique, which is to build the full quarter by doing one side of it and then mirroring it on the other side, jumping off, taking a look at it, seeing how it is. If it looks rubbish, you take it down. If it looks good, you keep it. And hopefully you can keep a sort of spherical shape going all the way up. Now, I will warn you, this isn't going to be mathematically correct, but it looks good. Yeah, I'd say it looks really, really cool. We've got a nice shape going on. It all looks pretty nice. And if we pop up to the top using our ender pearl, it also looks pretty cool from the inside. Nice. Well, I have got to work this right the way up to this line of blocks right here. Then we'll start working on the waves and things, which should be good fun. But so far, this is going nicely. I love a good challenge. Like, I really love a good challenge, but I am so lost. I did some modifications to this side, and now I can't work out how to do them to this side. It is looking good though. It's looking cool. Alright, so the final blocks are now going in for our little spherical section. Down at the bottom here, we have done 1/4 of the bottom half of the circle. And it has gone pretty well. It has gone really, really well. This has been one of the most complicated builds to do, I think, in terms of shape. Other than potentially the power beam. I remember that 1/4 took so long to work out. But the theory is that once you've done the first quarter, you know roughly what you're going to be doing, and you should be able to build the other ones really nice and quickly. But I think before we do, we should probably take a look at this thing from above. Okay, it looks good from above. Right, we'll take a look at it from down below, and we'll see how that's looking. Let's just land up on this hill. Good. Awesome. Everything looks like it matches up. There are a few holes that I've managed to miss in this section right here, but as far as I can tell, this is totally symmetrical. Sweet, wicked, excellent, that is going really, really nicely. Right, now what I've got to do is I've got to take out all of these scaffolding blocks right here, which I seem to have left behind, and then I guess let's get to work on the other 3/4, because, I don't know, I quite like it being this just section here. I think we'll start thinking about waves later on, but I'm about 50-50 as to whether or not I'm actually going to do them. And for the second time in today's episode, we have completely run out of glass. So far, we've used about 16 stacks, and I would say we're at about 3/4 of the way through the second quarter of our sphere area, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But as you can see, I've got 21 diamonds, and I think I'm just going to pick up 18 stacks. So that should just about do us. And then we'll drag all of this across. I'll quickly make sure that the price is good. 1 diamond per stack. So yeah, we've got 18 stacks of white stained glass. In theory, that should just about do us for the rest of the sphere. But I have a feeling that we are going to be popping back there because I seem to be quite wasteful. Good news, everyone. Everything is now coming together. We should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks going across right here, and then another set of 4, and this should be it for this entire quarter of the build. Whoa, that looks magnificent. That is crazy, isn't it? I mean, these are the sorts of shapes in Minecraft that look mad. They look totally crazy, and they're definitely by far the most complicated things to build. But once you've done it, it looks spectacular. And look, everything is perfectly symmetrical. I would say I've done a pretty good job at building this freehand as well. Didn't use any form of planners, didn't use any form of web tools, Google, or anything like that to work out how the sphere should go. This was all just built as I went along. Awesome. Okay, so we have got 1/2 of the bottom half of the circle all done. It is looking spectacular, as I've mentioned many times now. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go away from the sphere building for the time being. Just for a little while, because, you know, I've been doing plenty of circle building and sphere building recently. We're actually going to crack on with some redstone down at the bottom before finishing up this bottom section right here. Sometimes it feels like I'm the only customer at my own shops. I seem to be the only person that ever gets things from them. Part 1 is to create a launcher that will place us into the sphere. And I feel like, yeah, that's already been done. Right, well that's a good start. Now we need to create the actual entrance area itself. I have no clue how I want this thing to look, but I imagine it's going to look circular. I think circular would probably be a good place to start. So guys, this is the platform that I've created so far. So we've got cobblestone going around the outside, we've got the circle in the center, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's a really basic entrance system. Obviously we've got the slime block launcher, which puts us inside the sphere very easily, and then around the outside we've got a button with 2 droppers next to it, and we've got 4 of these for up to 4 different players. Now, the idea behind these little things right here is that inside these droppers, this one is going to have our bow on the inside, so that's going to chuck out the bow. And oh, I have just thought, this system's actually going to be quite complicated, because originally in my head, this one would be for the bow, and then this one would have a redstone clock hooked into it for the arrows. But I've just thought, I now want to have a bow, I also want to have a sword, and then potentially some armor. I mean, in theory, I could just have a bow and the sword. I feel like the armor probably isn't actually necessary. I was going to have different colors of armor, but then again, it's a free-for-all. It's a complete free-for-all, so you're just shooting at anyone who isn't you. So there isn't really any need for colored armor. So I think, Yeah, I think this should be fine. So you hit the button, that will trigger it once, then we'll have a falling edge monostable, that will trigger it the second time, then this one will have like a 64 item dispenser, which will chuck out all of the arrows, allowing us to pick them up. Fantastic. Alright, I've got a tiny bit of redstone designing to do, but it shouldn't be too difficult. At least, fingers crossed. I'm hoping that this system right here should be the perfect little circuit for our needs. So we're running redstone around like this, and redstone up into that one. Hopefully that redstone line is long enough running out of this. In fact, we could actually extend it just a tiny bit by running it out like that. So that should do it. Okay, let's cut that one off. Good, so the redstone runs up through here and into that block, and it should run into this dropper right here. So I'm going to place in 64 hardened clay in that one. We're going to place in a stick and some stone bricks in there, and we should get both the stick and the stone bricks, and then also we should get all of the hardened clay coming out from that dropper. So here goes. Good. And we got the stick, and then this hardened clay is going to be dispensed for a little while here, and we managed to get around about half a stack. Now that's a really good number to be getting. To be honest with you, I thought I was going to have to do some adjusting right there, but half a stack or 33 items, yeah, that's a good way to go. So we've got a bow, we've got the sword, and then half a stack of arrows. With a little redesign of all of the redstone circuitry, we now have 4 of these little systems underneath the platform, and all of them are completely independent of one another. It was a bit of a brain ache to try and work out how I was going to keep them from canoodling, because with the original dimensions of the design, they're actually all overlapping, which wasn't very good. So I had to fix things up, and we now have 4 very compact little circuits that should work in exactly the same way. So if we place 4 in here and then 64 in this one, you could see that we get 2 out of that one and a bunch popping out of this one as well. Awesome. The only slight thing is that there's no way to reload all of these droppers right here, which means I'm probably going to have to just add in a chest filled in with all of the items that are in these droppers just as backup. This is where I don't like shulker boxes. I just remembered I've got a ton of redstone stuff in my inventory that's meant to be in the shulker box. I want to put it in my storage system, but that means it won't be in my shulker box anymore. So now I have to go all the way back over to the shulker box to put this stuff back in, so I can come back here to pick up resources to take back over to that area. All of the arrows are now in the system, so I'm just in the process of looking for some flame books and also some fire aspect 2, which I think I have somewhere over here. No? Fire aspect 2? We've got flame there for 14 emeralds, right there. Where on earth is fire aspect 2? Oh, 11 flame. Okay, that's even better. Seriously? Do we not have this? Okay, well, I'll get the flame ones, and then I guess I have to have a look for some fire aspect books. I seem to have every single book apart from fire aspect 2s. I mean, I've found 2 out of this entire selection. Feather falling. Fire aspect 2! Yes! Alright, 1 more to go. So we've got 2 fire aspect swords. That is the 3rd one right there. And we have got another one right here. And there we go. Oh! Oh, I've been total idiot. I just put fire aspect 2 on both of the swords. Oh, for goodness sake. I put fire aspect 2 on one sword twice. It's definitely one for the spoon counter there. Once again, I've been hit by huge, enormous lag on the server. I can't seem to get myself off the ground. There we go. Oh, Hermitcraft, Hermitcraft, Hermitcraft. Never change. No, scrap that. Please change. So now that we have all of the bows and swords in all of the droppers, I'm currently in the process of looking for the abandoned mine shaft that is near the industrial district, because we need a whole ton of cobwebs for this project. I want some obstacles inside our sphere, and I have to say I'm not having too much luck on the location front. Oh, or the creeper front. Oh my word, there's a second one. Why does this not work anymore? So you can't get silk touch shears anymore. So do all shears work on cobwebs? Or am I going crazy? By the look of things, yeah, that is the case. Silk touch shears are gone. We can now just use regular shears on all cobwebs to get all of the that's fantastic. Well, that saved me a whole bunch of silk touch books which I could have sold. We managed to get ourselves a whole ton of cobwebs, and thankfully I managed to not die as well, and I've just popped back over to the sphere and I have created the launching mechanism. So this is how we're going to be starting the game. All you have to do is stand on top of the slime block, hit this button, and you get launched into a cobweb, then you hit the spacebar and take off. There we go. Super simple Elytra launcher. However, I have just realised something. You know the system that we created at the start of today's episode with all of the arrow dispensing and everything like that? Fireworks. We're going to need tons upon tons of fireworks in there as well. So I'm going to have to place in another dropper somewhere. And that's going to have to be for fireworks. Why do I not think these things through? For the third time in today's episode, this thing has now been redesigned, and hopefully it works. That one worked, but that one didn't. Ah, yes, that probably has something to do with it. Now sadly, this one is actually going to cost me a ton of stock. I'm probably going to chuck out, yeah, the shears can go, this chest can go, these can go, those buttons, they need to stay there. But, I mean, that is a lot of light duration 3 fireworks right there. So, yeah, hopefully they last a decent length of time. Each time you play, 30 are going to be dispensed. I want to have at least 6 or 7 stacks in each one of the dispensers. The launching platform is now completed, finally, I hope. I can't think of anything else that I need to add in. We've got all of the fireworks out the front. Those are all in that dispenser right there. And then we have our bow in this one, our sword in that one, and then we have all of the arrows in that one over there. Now, the redstone circuitry behind this one is actually pretty simple. All we have is a pulse extender, which runs down into this comparator clock, which then goes up into that redstone dot, which powers those 2 dispensers. And then the other 2 dispensers are just triggered by the button. It's actually a tiny bit simpler than the one that we had beforehand, and that is hooked into each set of these. So this thing is now ready to go in terms of dogfighting. But of course, we still have this whole semicircle left to do. We've got the other half of the sphere to do, so I'm going to go and grab my white stained glass, and let's crack on with this one. For the second half of the building process, I thought I would do it in the form of a third-person time-lapse, just so you can see everything that is going on, all of the blocks that need to be placed for this one, and most importantly, all of the mistakes that I seem to make in the process of building these spheres. Now, thankfully, I actually got into the swing of things a little bit, and I managed to see everything that was going on. And it actually went quite well. Having the second account logged in and pointed at the sphere made it really, really easy to get everything right. So thankfully I didn't make too many mistakes in the process of building this one, and that meant that the entire process was really nice and fast. But while this time-lapse plays in the background, I thought I'd have a quick chat to you guys about New Year's resolution. Because obviously New Year's Day is about 3 days away. You have just got a couple more days to come up with your resolutions. I'm sure all of you guys have come up with them, and I want to hear all of them down in the description. If you have a New Year's resolution, chuck it down there. I just want to see what you guys are coming up with. Now I'm going to start things off by saying what my New Year's resolution is, which is to try my best to be more productive. Now, I'm going to do this in many different ways. Obviously, procrastination or putting off doing important things is definitely something that I can occasionally suffer from, but I do it in a really strange way. I do it in a really odd fashion, which to some of you might not be considered procrastination. It's basically to procrastinate in a semi-productive manner. Now what I mean by this is that before I start recording a video, I could think to myself, oh, you know what? I haven't looked at camera equipment for a little while. I should probably look up some camera equipment and see if they have any new types of lenses in stock, or if any of the lens prices have dropped in value so that I can purchase them. They're within the budget all of a sudden. So then I'll spend like an hour just researching camera equipment and lenses and things like that. Whereas I could have spent that time actually making videos. Or for example, I'll look through my Twitter notifications for ages, or I'll look through my Instagram notifications, or I'll look through my email inbox. I'll do that sort of thing instead of making videos at that time, which may sound a little bit strange because obviously making these videos is fantastically good fun and I absolutely love doing them. But everyone likes to chill out, okay? Everyone likes to chill out and just browse things occasionally, and I think that's what I end up doing, which in a way isn't really procrastination because it's still doing things that directly benefit my YouTube channel, but I could have spent that time a little bit more effectively. Essentially, I prioritized the wrong things at certain times, and that's definitely something that I'm going to be working on in 2017. But anyway, as I said, let me know your New Year's resolutions for this year down in the comment section. I want to hear all of them. But anyway, let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server. And there we have it, guys. We have got ourselves a full circle down at the bottom of the sphere, and this thing looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it? I mean, look at the size of it. It is enormous. We've got loads and loads of white stained glass. I think I've actually used up all of Rendog's glass in his glass shop, so I'm going to have to send him a message saying he needs to restock at some point in the near future. But yeah, this is huge. This is absolutely enormous. Right, so this is what it looks like from the inside. Let's just pop outside and we will take a closer look from out there. And we'll see how it looks. Yes, that looks awesome. What a build! This thing's huge! Wow, alright, well, I would say that I want to do the same thing on the top. And you know what? I am considering doing the same thing on the top. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing that in today's episode of Hermitcraft. But I think doing that up on the top section would look awesome. And then we'd have like an empty section down at the bottom. I think that could potentially be a cool thing to do. But right now, it is just sort of looking like a gigantic Death Star. And that's the way that I like it. I cannot wait to have some form of dogfight on the inside of this thing. It's going to be absolutely mega. But as you guys saw, we don't really have too many fireworks to place inside the dispensers. In fact, I've pretty much used all of the fireworks that I had in stock to fill in all of the dispensers down at the bottom. And I think we had 9 stacks in each one of the droppers, which isn't too bad. That will give us a decent number of games. But you guys know what I'm like. I want to get as many fireworks as possible. And also, I feel like I need to restock my shop just a little bit as well. So I'm going to pop up to the top of the base. Almost killed myself in the process. We're going to switch on the mob farm to make sure that we do actually get drops. Let's just see. Yep, that's fired. That is now retracted, which means that the mob spawner should now be switched on. All of those should now start falling down to the bottom. We can go AFK overnight, and then when I return tomorrow morning, we will see how many drops I have managed to get. We've returned back onto the Hermitcraft server, and I have realised something that makes me a total idiot. Look. I haven't lit up the Santa's hat, which means that all of these mobs have been spawning on the top here, which totally ruins the efficiency of it. Just, how can I be that stupid? In all honesty, that is really stupid. I mean, you can see it's still working. It is still working, and it's still dropping loads upon loads of mobs out the bottom here. And if we take a look at the drops, you have got to be joking me. Oh, for goodness sake. How has that hopper timer stopped working? Oh my word. That one as well. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to end today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.